This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, it's Tuesday, first day of the show this week. See, it is March 20th, and we witnessed history on Friday. All right, we saw a number 16 seed beat a number 1 seed. Kind of, if you want to put it this way, the number 68 seed beat the overall number 1 seed because Virginia was the overall number 1 seed. So we saw that. We're going to talk about that for the first segment. Talk about pretty much March Madness as a whole for this first segment. We're going to spend a lot on that 16 versus 1 seed. Talk a bit about Syracuse. This is going to be a real March Madness heavy show, actually. All right. We're going to see what we can do for the first segment. Second segment, if we have to, we might move over with more March Madness. But this is how it's going to go for sure. We're going to talk March Madness. All right, see how we do there. We're going to talk NBA games from Monday, recap those. Also going to do a bit of because we do the weekend, we do a weekend recap and sports stuff like that. I know we usually do it for the first segment, but I think we're going to actually, I don't know. We'll do the weekend recap in the first segment, talk about Tiger, how he, quote unquote, I guess, choked a little bit, and we'll talk about what that means. All right, we'll talk March 16 seed being the 1 seed in the first segment, and then second segment, we're going to talk probably NBA, we'll talk NBA for Monday. Third segment, we're going to talk Suh, possibly where he's going to end up, and if he does end up with the Rams, are they doing a bit too much there with their defense? And then for the fourth segment, we'll pretty much talk about anything else going on in sports, give some thoughts about March Madness, maybe make my picks for the rest of the tournament, and we'll be making my picks for tonight's NBA games as we always do. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start off with Tiger. All right, so he had a chance to come out and in the last round of the tournament, go out and try and win it, and just couldn't get it going. All right, didn't do well enough to make it to win it. I think Rory McIlroy is the one who won it, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, McIlroy is the one who won it. Tiger Woods finished in 5th, finished at 10 under par, 8 strokes behind McIlroy. And I saw people, I didn't get to watch the tournament because I was focusing more on March Madness, but I saw people saying more that Tiger choked and he could have won it and all that. I'm thinking to myself, forget the fact that Tiger even choked. Listen to the fact that you're saying that. Tiger Woods, we're at a point in time now where we could talk about, Tiger Woods choking, which means he had an opportunity to go out and win. All right, and this is, Tiger, I feel, has gotten, I guess that tournament where he finished in second was his best so far, but I feel like he's kind of gotten better as each has progressed. And he's been in the top, well, not top 5 in everyone, but top 10 nearly and all that, and played pretty well, I guess you could say. I think one tournament he missed a cut, but other than that, there hasn't really been too many problems with him. So, just the fact that we get to come out here and say, oh yeah, Tiger Woods choked, he should have won it, but he didn't. And it's not like that's the consensus or anything like that. That's just stuff I've been seeing, just random tweets and all that. So, I don't know. It's good on Tiger being able to choke. Once the Masters gets here, he is going to be the favorite, as he is already. So, pretty much as we go tournament to tournament, just got to see how Tiger does. I do think that he is going to end up winning one, though. All right, Tiger Woods has played well enough so far to where it's kind of inevitable. All right, he's going to get one, and there's really no doubts about it. It's just a matter of which one. Is he going to win a Masters? Is he going to win a different major tournament, or is he just going to win just one of those, the tournaments they play now, the Arnold Palmer Invitational? He's going to win something like that. Who knows, but Tiger Woods will win a tournament this year. All right, so that happened over the weekend. Let's see what else we got going on besides March Madness. I think March Madness was pretty much it. Ty Lue going to be taking a leave of absence from the Cavs to focus on his health. And, I feel like, I talked about it yesterday on the GSMC basketball podcast, coaching a team, a LeBron team, has got to be probably one of the most stressful, pressure-filled jobs in all of sports. All right, because with LeBron's teams, it's more so if you win, great. If you lose, they are going to come after you. All right, absolutely come after you. And it's not just fans or people on Twitter or anything like that. Like, you got to do well enough in order to keep your job there. All right, David Blatt, I think, got fired that one year, and the Cavs were first in the East, I believe. All right, and that's when Ty Lue did come in. But, I mean, as far as coaching a team with LeBron on it, that's got to be hard. Because, like, for LeBron, I feel like, this is just my opinion, stuff like that, but I feel like there hasn't been an athlete before or after him, and I might be wrong because, again, I didn't get to watch the athletes before me or anything like that before my time, but watching LeBron go through his career, I mean, there's no one that I've seen so far that has had any sort of pressure close to what LeBron gets as far as having to win a title. All right, LeBron pretty much does everything well, should be regarded as one of the best of all time, probably the best if we're being real here, but I feel like it all hangs down on whether he wins a title a certain year or not. All right, because LeBron, when he's brought up in best of all time conversations, you see people throw his finals record out there, and I'm not really too sure. Like, the dude's won 3 championships. All right, and people say, oh, yeah, well, he's won it with, he's needed help and all. Yeah, everyone needs help. I don't know where we got to this little notion that players can go out, like Kobe's can go out and win it on their own. Kobe never won it on his own. All right, he won it with Shaq, and then yes, I know his team in 2010 won in 2010, 2009, I think it was. All right, those two teams, yeah, they weren't the greatest. They didn't have the greatest players or anything like that. But at one point in time, during that time, Pau Gasol was one of the best power forwards in the league, and then you had Derek Fisher, who pretty much, yeah, Derek Fisher was never really the best point guard in the league, but nonetheless, he's been there, done that. He has the experience to go out and play well and know what you need to do in order to win. And you got Lamar Odom, who's the best six man in the league that year too. All right, during that time, I guess you could say arguably. So, I mean, this whole little thing that LeBron has needed help. Yeah, Jordan needed Pippen, needed Rodman, all those guys. All right, Garnett needed Allen Pierce. Let's see, the Pistons needed each other. All right. I mean, that Lakers team didn't go fit in 2001, I think it was. They went, 15-1 in that little playoff run they had when they won the title? They needed each other, too. All right. We got to get past this whole little thing where LeBron needs help to win. Yeah, so does everyone else. I'm sure that if you look on most championship teams, the majority of them, you're going to see at least 2 Hall of Famers on them. All right? And there's the whole thing of, well, he recruited the free agents and stuff like that. That's how the league is now. All right? It is what it is. That's how it is. But either way, yeah, as far as Ty Lue goes, I mean, you got to focus on your health. But, I mean, that's probably got to be one of the biggest things as far as what's messing up his health is just the pressure and stress. All right? If the Cavs don't do well this season and, like, let's say they lose in the Eastern Conference semis and LeBron leaves, Ty Lue won't be back with the Cavs next year, I don't think. I think they're going to have to start off completely fresh if LeBron is gone. All right? I think that's what's going to end up happening, but, I mean, it's just crazy to see. But let's talk about this 16 seed beating a 1 seed. All right? On Friday, you had UMBC versus Virginia. Didn't think twice of it. Didn't even know who UMBC was till I saw that they were beating up on Virginia in the first half. All right, no clue who they were, where they were from, what UMBC even stood for, or why it even mattered. All right, but nonetheless, the University of Maryland, Baltimore County knocked off Virginia. What was it, 74-54? I think it was. Beat the overall number 1 seed in the tournament by 20 points. All right, 20 points. This is something we've never seen before, okay? Never. Might not ever see again. I don't think people realize pretty much what went down on Friday, like just realize the magnitude of what it was, okay? This has never happened before. The only other time it ever did happen in college basketball was in the women's tournament, I think it was, where Harvard beat Stanford. Can't remember how long ago or how close it was, but either way, that happened before. So now you got it on the men's side where you got UMBC beating Virginia. All right, and Virginia pretty much was shell-shocked. Had no idea what to do. Struggled throughout the game. All right, and this wasn't like, I'm sure people thought if a 16 seed ever beat a 1 seed, it would take one of those crazy March Madness runs where you're down by like 15 or whatever. You bring it back into 2. You hit a 3. You're leading now, and it's a close game throughout the second half, the late part of the second half. And the 16 seed ends up hitting like a game winner, just barely getting the win. All right, that was not the case in this one. And I know Virginia had a really good player out for that team, but either way, you're the number 1 overall seed, and you're playing essentially the 68th seed of the tournament. All right, the worst team in the tournament, the lowest seeded team in the tournament, and they beat you wire to wire. That's pretty bad. All right, and I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, this game was weird. Like, UMBC pretty much was hitting every shot they could in the second half, and Virginia was just, I felt, rushing everything, was panicking. Virginia panicked. They didn't know how to react. All right, I feel like they knew. Obviously, they knew beforehand, yeah, we're playing a 16 seed, and then once you're down by double digits, you're like, oh, we can't be the first team to lose to a 16 seed. This can't be happening. No, we can't do this. We got to work a little bit harder. We got to start pretty much getting away from the game plan and doing everything, doing other stuff. And I feel like that's exactly what happened. They got away from the game plan and pretty much just panicked. All right, didn't want to be that team that lost to a 16 seed, and pretty much that's what happened. Not pretty much, that is what happened. All right, so with all this, I mean, it's just like UMBC, they beat Virginia. They don't, like, the next round, it's not like they got blown out or anything like that. They hang in there with Kansas State. They lose 50-43. I was watching that game. UMBC was a 3 away from taking the lead and pretty much running away, like, not running away with it, but you know, in college basketball where there's sometimes, you know, if this team scores and takes the lead, they're not going to give it up. I figured that's what it was with UMBC, but they just never got that shot to take the lead. They just never had that one key shot. All right. Just couldn't get it going, couldn't capitalize. Had a couple of steals in the fourth quarter, but just couldn't score off of those. So, I mean, for UMBC, that's the story of the tournament right there. All right, it doesn't matter if Loyola Chicago goes out, beats Nevada, beats Kentucky, or whoever else they play after that. It does not matter. All right. Yeah, I think they would play Kentucky if they beat Nevada and Kentucky beats Kansas State, which they should. So, I mean, yeah, Loyola Chicago goes out, makes another run, or continues their run, wins the tournament. Still not a bigger story than UMBC. All right, like, people literally do not realize what we just saw on Friday. I had a buddy text me on Friday when I was getting home saying, dude, we just witnessed history. And it's true. It was crazy. All right, I never thought a 16 seed would beat a 1 seed. Sometimes like, you had Kansas the other day playing Penn, and it was a close one in the second half, but then eventually Kansas pretty much made their run and pretty much won it by, like, 16, I think it was, won pretty easily. All right. I mean, you watch those games, and, like, for those few minutes where the 16 seed is pretty much right in it with the 1 seed, whether it be the tip-off or early in the second half, you're watching, hold on, maybe it could actually happen, and then the run happens, 16 seed falls behind, and it's just, oh, maybe next year, all right? We actually saw it on Friday. Like, it went through and through from wire to wire, big win. And this is, like, for Virginia, I don't know, like, I guess it's pretty much pick yourselves up, do better next year. But for UMBC, I mean, they got this win. What happens next for them? All right, they're already out of the tournament. They're just going to go back to being regular old UMBC. They're going to be forever known as the team who beat a number 1 seed, a 16 seed that beat a number 1 seed. But, I mean, that's not going to get you better players there. That's not going to pretty much bring up your funding, being able to pay coaches or anything like that more. I mean, I saw that UMBC was going to try and work out an extension with the coach, but the quote was, yeah, we're going to try and do that, but within our means. I mean, yeah, you make probably a couple mil for the school from the tournament, getting that big win, but after that, I mean, it goes back to just being regular UMBC. All right, like I said, they probably won't even make the tournament next year. All right. I mean, it's possible, but if I had to put money in, I'd say UMBC doesn't make the tournament, because something like this is just so rare, like, from a team like that. Like I said, like, it goes back to it. I've never even heard of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. All right, I didn't even know that was a school. All these other 16 seeds, yeah, like Penn, yeah, you know them. All right, but it's just UMBC, like, no one. It's kind of crazy how sports works. All right, Virginia's going to go back to being a top team in the ACC. Going to keep bringing in good recruits and all that. Going to have a great coach. All right, a lot of money in that program, and UMBC pretty much just goes back to wherever they were. Goes back to their conference. All right, probably playing. I think they do have a decent sized gym now. I think I saw they paid a lot for a new gym and all that. So I guess that's a little upgrade there. But like I said, just going back to it, it's like UMBC just. Like that, this one team is gonna, I guess, reap whatever like good stuff comes out of it. But it's just after that, it's all back to normal. Nothing else changes. So it's just kind of crazy to think about how they beat the number 1 team in the nation, and now it's pretty much on your way back home, and that's it. But either way, that's all I got to say about that. That's the weekend recap. Like I said, next up we're gonna be talking NBA. Third segment we're gonna be talking Suh, and then fourth segment we'll be making the rest of my picks for this NCAA tournament. Going to talk a bit about Syracuse, Loyola, Chicago, all those other teams, and we'll be making my picks for tonight's game. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. In that first segment, basically did the weekend recap, talked about three of the bigger stories of the weekend, talked about, let's see, what did we talk? We talked about Ty Lue taking a leave of absence for the Cavs in order to work on his health. Should be back before playoffs, too. We talked about Tiger Woods, talked about how he played well, all right, had some people saying that he choked and all that, and people were getting frustrated saying, oh, Tiger didn't choke because he didn't have a chance or whatever, and people were pretty much focusing on the wrong thing. All right, it's not about whether or not he choked. People are saying he choked, so that means Tiger's got to be back. All right, in order for people to say that about him, that means he had to have a chance to win. And sure enough, he did. I mean, if he did finish 8 strokes off the lead or whatever, finished in 5th at a 10 under par. But either way, Tiger's been playing well. Like I said in the last segment, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I think for if he's going to win a tournament. All right, I think he's going to win a tournament this year, whether it's a major or anything like that. Who knows? But either way, I think Tiger will end up winning a tournament. I've been probably one of the biggest criticizers of Tiger. I thought he was done. I thought there was no way, but didn't think that he could become 100% healthy again. It kind of looks like he is, so we'll see about him. And then we had a 16 seed knock off a number 1 seed on Friday. All right, first time it's ever happened in the men's tournament. UMBC knocked off Virginia, wire-to-wire, blowout win. All right, just I don't know, in shock kind of still, because of the fact that Virginia just didn't show up, and UMBC wiped the floor with them, right? 174-54. I was talking about how it's kind of weird. UMBC is going to go back to being just regular old UMBC, all right? Not going to bring any big recruits to them or anything like that, because mainly, I don't want to say they can't afford it, but there's not enough money in that program in order to compete with the Dukes or Virginias, all right? Virginia's going to go back to being a good team in the ACC, and they'll probably make the tournament next year, whereas UMBC is probably going to struggle to make it, so we'll see about that, but it's just kind of crazy to see how it all ends up. But either way, for this segment, we're going to be talking NBA games for Monday, going to recap those, so let's get into it. First up, you have the Milwaukee Bucks facing off with the Cleveland Cavaliers. As I said, no Ty Lue for this one, but they did have Kevin Love, and the Cavs did win 124-117. For Milwaukee, you had Giannis Antetokounmpo with 37 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 13 of 20. Chris Middleton, he had 30 points, 5 rebounds, shot 11 of 16, 5 of 9 from the three-point line. Eric Bledsoe didn't shoot the ball well in this one, only 5 of 15 from the field, 1 of 8 from the three-point line, 13 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds. Tony Snell had 5 points, shot 2 of 8, 1 of 7 from the three-point line. Off the bench, you had Jabari Parker with 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 5 of 10, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Thon Maker, he had 12 points, shot 5 of 10, 0 of 2 from the three-point line. And Brandon Jennings played 14 minutes in this one, had 4 points, 4 assists, shot 2 of 3. For the Cavs, you had LeBron with 40 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, triple-double there, 16 of 29 shooting from the field, 3-7 from the three-point line. Jeff Green had 14 points on 5 of 8 shooting. Kevin Love, in his first game back, played 25 minutes, went 5 for 13 from the field, 4 of 9 from the three-point line, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Pretty decent game from him. Cavs are really going to need him to step up and play extremely well in order for them to have a chance of even making it to the Eastern Conference Finals or Finals, either one. All right, for George Hill, I mean, played 21 minutes, struggled in this one as he has with the Cavs so far. 0 points, 0 of 2 from the field, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Kyle Korver had 12 points, 6 rebounds, shot 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. And off the bench, you had Zizic with 13 points, 6 rebounds, shot 4 of 6. He's been playing well in the minutes he's been getting with the Cavs lately, so got to look out for that. Then you had Jordan Clarkson with 17 points, 2 rebounds, shot 5 of 11, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. Once again, Cavs won that one 124-117. Like I said, too, with Kevin Love, I mean, I'm not really expecting him to come out and be this great player or anything like that. I'm sure he's going to assume the same role he's always had with the Cavs. But now it's just a matter of, I don't know, like, Kevin Love has been in the league for a while. I mean, can he, like, we always ask that question every year, I feel. Is this going to be the year that Kevin Love goes back to the old Timberwolves type Kevin Love? And that's never going to happen. So pretty much with this guy, with Kevin Love now, it's pretty much just another shooter out there because the defense is going to get better. So I guess now you just got to start, obviously, outscoring guys, but putting up big points in order to have a good chance to win, I guess. So we'll see about that. We can never rely on the Cavs defense for the rest of the season. Then you had the Lakers facing off with the Indiana Pacers, and Indiana won this one 110-100. For the Lakers, you had Julius Randle with 21 points, 9 rebounds, shot 9 of 19. Kyle Kuzma had 27 points, 8 rebounds, shot 10 of 18, 3 of 10 from the three-point line. Brook Lopez, he had 23 points, 8 rebounds, shot 10 of 15. Lonzo Ball, only 1 of 4 from the field in this one, all of them threes, had 8 assists, 2 rebounds, and 4 points. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, only 12 points, 7 rebounds, shot 3 of 10 from the field, 3 of 8 from the three-point line. And then off the bench, you had Isaiah Thomas, who struggled in this one. 11 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 4 of 14 from the field, 0 of 5 from the three-point line. For the Pacers, you had Thaddeus Young with 18 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 9 of 12. Bojan Bogdanovic had 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 2 of 9, 0 of 5 from the three-point line. Miles Turner had 21 points, 7 rebounds, shot 9 of 15. Darren Carlson returned to the starting lineup in this one. He had 15 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 10, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Victor Oladipo, he had 20 points, 4 rebounds, 8 of 15 shooting, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. And off the bench, you had good old Lance Stevenson with 16 points, 5 rebounds, 6 of 13 shooting, and 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Pacers are looking good, and as far as the Lakers go, I mean, it's kind of weird. You'll see their fans on Twitter talking about how they love Isaiah Thomas one game, they're open to bringing him back, if like they're open to the team bringing him back, and then the next game he has a game like this, and it's like, oh, we got to buy out Isaiah Thomas, got to get rid of him, he's useless and stuff like this. Isaiah Thomas, that's going to be one of the more intriguing free agents this summer. Obviously, not going to be on that level of LeBron or anything like that, but it's going to be real interesting to see what kind of market is out there for Isaiah Thomas, how much he's going to get paid, who's going to pay him. Like I see him he's kind of turning into a Rajon Rondo type player, I guess you could say, like his career. All right, Rondo at one point was one of the best point guards in the league, and then eventually, I mean, his career just really fizzed out. Now you're seeing like what's left for Rondo, what market is out there for him. That's kind of what we're getting to with Isaiah Thomas. All right, was one of the best players in the league last year, had an incredible offensive season, one of the best seasons in Celtics history as far as scoring goes. And I mean, now pretty much we're talking, where's he going to end up? Is there much of a market out there for him? And he's going to end up with some team. It's just a matter of, I guess, how much he's going to be getting paid. And I have no clue, to be honest, so we'll wait and see about that. But as for the Pacers, like I said, one of the better teams in the East, could very well knock off the Celtics in the playoffs if they wanted to, could knock off the Cavs, and could give the Raptors a run for their money in a series too. I mean, they could win that one also, so we'll see about that. But I really like the way the Pacers are playing, all right? Miles Turner and Victor Oladipo are really taking over there. But as for the next game, we had the Charlotte Hornets facing off with the Philadelphia 76ers, and Philly won this one easily, 108-94. For Charlotte, you had Marvin Williams with only 2 points, 1 of 5 shooting. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, 5 points, 2 of 8 from the field. Dwight Howard really didn't do much in this one, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Kemba Walker had 24 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 8 of 19 from the field, 1 of 9 from the three-point line. Jeremy Lamb got the start for Nick Batum in this one. 14 points, 8 rebounds, shot 6 of 12. Off the bench, you had Willie Hernan-Gomez with 17 points, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 11, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. And Malik Monk played pretty good in this one. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 4 of 11, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. For the Sixers, you had Dario Saric with 5 points, only 1 rebound in this one, 2 of 9 shooting. Not a great night from him. Robert Covington had 18 points, 5 rebounds, shot 6 of 12, 4 of 9 from the three-point line. Joel Embiid had 25 points, 19 rebounds, shot 10 of 17, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Ben Simmons, 11 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, shot 4 of 9. J.J. Redick had 12 points, 5 rebounds, shot 5 of 12, 2 of 7 from the three-point line. And then off the bench, you had Marco Bellinelli with 21 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 8 of 14, and 5 of 9 from the three-point line. All right, Charlotte, as I continue to say and will always say, I mean, really a team with no direction right now. Got to get rid of Kemba Walker if they truly want to start rebuilding. And, I mean, like, I don't know, the Hornets are just a weird team as it is to pay attention to. And as for the Sixers, 39-30, playing well, should be the 6th seed in the East right now unless they overtook Washington for that 5th spot. If they are over Washington, they'd probably be like a half game or a game up right now. But either way, Philly, the rebuild is working out right now. All right? They're starting to get better, and Philly's going to be a team you really don't want to see in the playoffs. They're playing extremely well right now. And you got Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid staying healthy this year. Ben Simmons, who's Rookie of the Year, been playing extremely well, being a good distributor for that team. Robert Covington, been kind of off and on this season, but looking like he's starting to pick it up as the season comes to an end, at least until playoff time. Dario Saric, he's been playing well. This game that he had against Charlotte's a bit of an outlier, and then JJ Redick's more so the unsung veteran of that team, pretty much who walks into work with his lunch pail, walks out, pretty much the same guy. All right, been doing well, so good on Philly there. And Philly, like I said, could be a team possibly that could knock off the Cavs if they faced off in a series. I'm still holding on to that. Like I said, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Philly would have the chance. All right, then we got Memphis facing off with Brooklyn. Brooklyn won this one 118-115. For Memphis, you had JaMychal Green with 14 points, 16 rebounds, shot 7 of 8 there. Dylan Brooks had only 15 points, shot 5 of 15, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Andrew Harrison had 19 points, 8 assists, shot 7 of 16, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. And then off the bench, you had Chandler Parsons with 13 points, 2 rebounds, shot 4 of 5 there. Ben McLemore only had 5 points. Wayne Selden had 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 7 of 15, 3-7 from the three-point line. And then you had Ivan Rabb with 10 points, 6 rebounds, shot 4 of 9. Chandler Parsons is such a weird player. Like, sometimes you think is he out for the years? That way he's not playing. And he just pops in and out of the lineup on random days. It feels like whenever I check the Memphis Grizzlies games. And then for Brooklyn, you had DeMarre Carroll with 18 points, 6 rebounds, shot 5 of 8, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Rondé Hollis Jefferson had 16 points, 12 rebounds, shot 4 of 9 there. D'Angelo Russell, not the best shooting night, 5 of 17 from the field, 1 of 10 from the three-point line, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 14 points. Allen Crabbe had 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 7 of 10, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. And off the bench, you had Chris LeVert with 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 7 of 9, 4 of 4 from the three-point line. And then Spencer Dinwiddie's been playing pretty bad the last couple of weeks. We got moved down to the bench. All right, he had 9 points, 6 assists, shot 2 of 6 from the field, 0 of 4 from the three-point line. Once again, Brooklyn won that game 118-115. I mean, this more so helps Memphis than it does anyone else. Now they're 19-51. Do have a great chance again, the number 1 pick. And I really hope they don't end up with DeAndre Ayton, just because of the fact that, I mean, I feel like the Grizzlies are going to be bad for the near future, I guess you could say. So hopefully it goes to a team like the Suns. But even then, so like the Suns, I mean, front office is pretty bad, but you do have some young talent there. My ideal team for Ayton to end up with, if I had my choice, it'd be the Kings. I think the Kings would be a pretty solid squad next year if they got Ayton. Would kind of be like this year's Lakers, all right? Next year they'd be competitive, playing well, wouldn't really make the playoffs or anything like that, but nonetheless you know that they're on the up and up. All right, but as for the next game, we have the Denver Nuggets facing off with the Miami Heat, and Miami won this one 149-141 in double overtime. For Denver, you had Paul Millsap with 14 points, 8 rebounds, shot 5 of 11 from the field, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Wilson Chandler had 26 points, 5 rebounds, shot 11 of 17, 3-7 from the three-point line. Will Barton had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 8 of 21, 3 of 10 from the three-point line. Nikolai Jokic had 34 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 12 of 21, 4 of 5 from the three-point line. Jamal Murray had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 5 of 16. Not the best shooting night from him. Did hit 4 out of his 8 threes, though. No Gary Harrison in this one. And off the bench, you had Devin Harris, 13 points, 9 assists, 2 of 8 shooting there. As for the Miami Heat, you had James Johnson with the big game here. All right, shot 13 of 17, 4 of 6 from the three-point line, 31 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. One of the more underrated players in the league. All right, doesn't go out, put up big points or anything like that, but nonetheless, kind of like a Swiss Army knife. Does pretty much everything well. Josh Richardson had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 6 of 13, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Bam Adebayo, in his third start this season, I believe it is, had 7 points, 8 rebounds, shot 3 of 9. Goran Dragic had 20 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 6 of 15, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Tyler Johnson, not really a good shooting night, 3 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And then off the bench, you had Kelly Olynyk with 30 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 11 of 16, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Justice Winslow had 11 points, shot 5 of 8. And then you had Wayne Ellington with 23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 8 of 14, 6 of 11 from the three-point line. I guess Hassan Whiteside and Dwayne Wade are still out injured, but, I mean, the Heat are still playing good basketball right now. All right, especially without those guys. Once you get them back, obviously, you're going to get a little bit better. And I kind of like Bam Adebayo starting. I know he hasn't really taken that starting spot pretty much with all the opportunities he's gotten. Like, he's still kind of struggled, but nonetheless, that's going to be their center of the future, so definitely going to start developing him more. But there is the fact that Miami Heat are currently in a playoff race, at least for seeding. I mean, they're going to be making the playoffs for sure. Let's see where they currently are in the East. They're currently 7th seed right now, half game up on the Bucks, 2 games back of the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly's pretty much got that 6th spot locked up. They're half game back of Washington for that 5th seed, and they are a game back of Indiana for that 4th seed right now. Cleveland is in the 3 spot, so if it came down to it, Cleveland would be facing off with Philadelphia in that first round. All right, but like I said, Miami 7th seed right now, and they beat the Nuggets 149-141. Then for the next game, we had the Chicago Bulls facing off with the New York Knicks, and New York won this one 110-92. For the Bulls, we had Denzel Valentine with 8 points, shot 4 of 11. Cameron Artis-Payne had only 4 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists in his start, only shot 2 of 12. Justin Holiday, 0 points, 0 of 6 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Bobby Portis, he had 16 points, 7 rebounds, shot 6 of 11, and 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Bulls is pretty much just terrible in this game. For the Knicks, you had Michael Beasley with 17 points, 6 rebounds, shot 6 of 10, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Tim Hardaway Jr. with 22 points, shot 7 of 15, 4 of 11 from the three-point line. Enes Kanter with 10 points, 13 rebounds, shot 5 of 9. Emmanuel Mudiay with 4 points, shot 2 of 8. And Courtney Lee also shot poorly in this one. 2 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from the three-point line, 4 points in this one. Not really much to say. I mean, the Knicks need to start losing more games if they want to have a decent size or decent lottery pick. For the Chicago Bulls, I mean, got to keep losing even more. I mean, right now the Bulls kind of messed themselves up being so competitive this season early on. I mean, the last month or so, last part of the season they've been pretty bad. But before that, they were competing, winning games. Right now, they currently have the 4th worst record in the East, and they would have, there's about 4 teams better than them in the West. So Chicago kind of shot themselves in the foot a bit. But as for the next game, we had the Golden State Warriors facing off with the San Antonio Spurs. No Klay Thompson, no Steph Curry, no Kevin Durant. And they lost. Didn't play well at all because of it. The Spurs won this one 89-75. For Golden State, you had Draymond Green with 0 points, only played 12 minutes in this one. I think he left the game injured too with a groin injury. So, I mean, the Warriors are just getting hit with every injury possible, I feel right now. All right, but he finished the game 0-4 from the field. No points, 3 rebounds. Andre Iguodala had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 4 of 6 from the field. Zaza Pachulia had 6 points, 3 rebounds, and only 14 minutes of play. Quinn Cook had 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 8 of 18. Nick Young got the start in this one, shot the ball poorly, 2 of 10 from the field, 0 of 5 from the three-point line, 2 rebounds, 10 points. And then for the Spurs, you had LaMarcus Aldridge with 33 points, 12 rebounds, shot 13 of 22. Patty Mills had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 4 of 12. Deontay Murray, 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. And you had Danny Green with 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 4 of 8, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. Not really much going on in this game, right? This game was on ESPN, bit of a doozy here. Like I said, the Spurs won 89-75. And then for the final game of the night, we had the Detroit Pistons facing off with the Sacramento Kings, and Detroit won this one 106-90. For Detroit, you had Blake Griffin with 26 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 9 of 18, 3 of 5 from the three-point line. Reggie Bullock had 17 points, shot 7 of 13, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. Stanley Johnson got the start in this one, 11 points, 4 rebounds. Andre Drummond only 4 points, 16 rebounds in this one. Ish Smith had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 7 of 10, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Off the bench, you had Anthony Tolliver with 12 points and Luke Kennard with 10 points. For the Kings, you had Zach Randolph with only 4 points in this one, played only 15 minutes. Justin Jackson had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 7 of 9 shooting. Willie Cauley-Stein had 9 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 4 of 8. De'Aaron Fox, pretty good game here, 16 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 8 of 11. And then Buddy Hield had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 8 of 15 from the field, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. Once again, the Pistons won this one 106-90. So that's going to wrap it up for this segment. This was all the basketball games from Monday. All right, next up, we're going to be talking about the Rams and Ndamukong Suh, and pretty much if the Rams are doing too much. Also going to talk about the other possibilities of where Ndamukong Suh could land. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we've talked about Tiger Woods. We've talked 16 seed UMBC beating Virginia, number 1 seed on Friday. All right, what a shock that was. And again, I mean, we all need to realize that was history we saw. All right, I'm going to be telling my grandkids about it. I'm going to be telling my great-grandkids about it. If I live long enough, I'll tell my great-great-grandkids about it. All right, I'm going to tell everyone about it. I was there. I saw it. I wasn't there. All right, I was watching it on my phone. But nonetheless, I saw it. It happened. It's real. All right, so it's the crazy thing that happened over the weekend there. And then you got Ty Lue, who took a leave of absence from the Cavs. But like I said earlier, should be back before the playoffs start. Not my information. That is from Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. All right, second segment, we talked about Monday's NBA games. Recap those. Had a lot of good ones going on. We had a good game between the Heat and Nuggets that ended in double overtime with the Heat winning, I believe. What did I say the score was? Like 149 to 141? Something like that. All right, Kevin Love in his return played well. Cavs won that one. And then, let's see, we had the Warriors, who are pretty much all the injuries in the world have come to that team and have hit their 4 star players. So they really got to stay healthy. I saw that they were going to be bringing back Steph Curry maybe sometime this week on Friday. Don't do that. Do not do that. Just wait till the playoffs, please. Just wait till the playoffs. But either way, we've talked about that so far. For this segment, we're going to go back to the NFL and talk some about that. All right, so let's talk about Ndamukong Suh. One of the best defensive tackles in the league, if not the best still. All right, with Miami, got that big contract, was basically making quarterback money, making around $20 million a year, $26 million a year, something like that, I believe it was. Can't remember the exact number. But either way, was getting paid like he was a quarterback. And, I mean, there's this whole thing of, did he play well enough for his contract? And, I mean, you give anyone that kind of money, and the expectations are just going to be sky high. All right? With Ndamukong Suh, he still was one of the best defensive tackles in the league, and he was by far the best player on that Dolphins team. So as far as was the contract worth it? Probably not. But did he perform under it? Yeah. So now it's just a matter of who's going to pay Suh and where's he going next. All right, right now we got the Rams, Seahawks, and Saints. I guess it's the 3 big teams, unless there's some sleeper team coming in. Cowboys were a team that got brought up, but more so I think that was more of a pipe dream bit, just trying to, I guess, get the Cowboys into the news and all that again. But either way, I mean, if he ended up with Dallas, that sharpen up that defense a bit more. And Suh is the kind of player on the defense that does make the players around him better, whether it be just the defensive line or the linebackers behind him. But either way, as far as him going to Dallas, that's not happening at all, I don't think. So let's talk about him with the Rams. I feel like that's pretty much been the one that's gained the most steam. And with him and the Rams have already added Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters. All right. And those are already 2 big personalities. And people have been saying pretty much, is bringing Suh in, is that like a one personality too many on that team? And maybe if you're thinking like you bring in 3 great players, and Aqib Talib is, I guess, it's remained to be seen if he's still got that little jump at the quarterback spot, if he's still that great player. And I think he probably will be, because of the fact just that Denver's the last 2 years are just pretty much throwaway years just because they haven't had a quarterback yet. But either way, getting back to it, like Aqib Talib, is he the same cornerback he was? We'll find out. Marcus Peters, like, that's a personality, but that's not like it's a guy who, like, I don't really understand how Marcus Peters is really a distraction. Like, honestly. Yes, I know he picked up a ref's flag and threw it into the stands and all that. I can deal with that. It's not like it's an everyday thing or anything like that. It's not like he's outside off the football field getting into trouble or anything like that. Maybe he'll leave a couple of colorful quotes or stuff like that. But it's just a matter of, he's not really a distraction. So I'm not really sure where that came from. But I mean, with him, Talib, and Suh, people were saying maybe he's that one too many great free agents on the team. Because if you look, you win the offseason, you don't win in the regular season at all. All right? Teams like the Dolphins, I remember one time I think Rex Ryan declared the Jets the offseason champs. All right, I don't think they did well that year. So pretty much if you're bringing in top player after top player in free agency, I guess you could say, like, they're free agents, they're free agents for a reason. All right? They're not all going to perform, and there's a reason why their teams are letting them go. Teams really aren't going to let the core players go that play well, because of the fact that you need them on your team. All right? Marcus Peters obviously was expendable. Same with Talib. And Suh's contract made him expendable. All right, and here they are. And with Suh, if he goes to the Rams, that's going to be a great team. All right, a very great team. That's going to be maybe the Super Bowl favorites if they bring in Suh. All right, I was thinking maybe they're being like Miami, bringing in free agent after free agent, top free agent after top free agent, shelling out money for him. But, I mean, they traded for Peters. They traded for Talib. All right, they let No, they brought back Joyner, I think. Yeah, they franchised Joyner. They let Alec Ogletree go. All right, now they're meeting with Suh. If you bring in Suh, they have the best defense in the league, and I'm not sure I was going to say it's not close, but it is the best defense in the league. All right, and I've been on the Jaguars defense bandwagon saying that they've been the best, but if you add a guy like Ndamukong Suh, pair him with an Aaron Donald, all right, then you have that secondary back with Marcus Joyner coming back, and you got Talib and Peterson, guys who create turnovers. I mean, this team is going to be very, very scary on defense, all right? And if you have a great defense, that means that there's not too much pressure on your offense to go out and score every single drive, all right? With the offense, they can pretty much take it easy. Not take it easy, but what I'm saying is pretty much, like they said, the pressure isn't there. All right, and plus with the offense last year, they were the best offense in the league last year. All right? People were comparing them to the greatest show on turf. The offense is not the offenses and stuff like that. And you can have your opinion on it. But either way, I mean, the Rams' offense last year was just dynamic and overall just great. All right, you had Todd Gurley, who was a dynamic back out there. He could either run the ball or you could throw it to him, and he's going to go for anywhere from like 10 catches over 100 yards if you want him to. All right, that's one big thing about that offense there. And with the Rams, I mean, one of the biggest things was that they made the playoffs and they got bounced. All right, for them to make the wild card, face a team like the Falcons who just played in the Super Bowl, and that was the easiest game to pick at the playoffs too, right there, the Falcons and Rams. Anyone who really thought the Rams had any sort of a chance, I mean, was kind of naive, I guess you could say, because of the fact that Falcons have been there before, and the Rams, that was the first time they've been in the playoffs for quite some time. Falcons got that experience, and they used that against the Rams. That's why they won. So I don't want to say easily, but played extremely well in that one. All right, for the Rams now, you pretty much know what it's like to play in the playoffs and what it takes. So now they needed that little beatdown by the Falcons in order to get back and pretty much know, all right, we got to do this, and this is how we're going to win. All right, now you got Jared Goff coming into his third season, coming off of a really good second year. Todd Gurley, one of the best running backs in the league last year. All right, Robert Woods played extremely well last season. You got Cooper Kupp, who's one of the better slot receivers in the league after only a year. And then you got the defense, like I said, where if you bring in Suh, could very well be the best defense in the league. All right, the Rams really, if they get Suh, do have something special brewing. All right, that's a team where if you add Suh, that makes you the best team in the NFC, I feel. Yes, better than Philly. All right, the Rams are so close, I think. I think they're going to get a Super Bowl within the next 5 years, but a move like picking up a guy like Suh, that's going to move you on, and pretty much that's going to be the move that puts you over. And it's kind of interesting, too, because I don't think they've paid Aaron Donald yet, and I'm sure Aaron Donald is saying this. And if they bring in Suh, how are you going to pay Aaron Donald? Because Suh is still worth a lot of money. All right, he's still worth top defensive tackle money. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Rams do there. But, I mean, there are other teams that are looking for Suh. All right, you got the Seahawks who have had some meetings with him. And as far as the Seahawks go, you bring in a guy like Suh, that's going to fix up a lot of problems on the defense there too. All right, that's one player who changes up the entire defense. That's one player who you could say makes everyone around him better. And you put a guy like that on the Seahawks, all right, the Seahawks are pretty much... They're still, whether you, like, with the moves they made on defense, they're still a good team. All right, you still have Russell Wilson on that team, who I think is a fringe top five quarterback. All right, you put Suh out there in the defense, that's pretty much going to give some attitude to that team. And pretty much, like I said, it's just like, this is like the new Seattle Seahawks, all right? The new and revamped Seattle Seahawks if they bring in Suh. And if they bring in Suh, I mean, there's not really going to be much of a drop-off on the defense. Obviously, they got to go out and find corners in the draft and all that, but I think they're going to be able to. You might even see him trade up for a few. Maybe you see him make a move in the first round. Who knows? But either way, I mean, as far as the Seahawks go, they bring in Suh. I still think they're going to be a team that competes for the playoffs. And even without Suh, I think that Seattle competes for the playoffs. I just think that Seattle's still a pretty good team, I say. All right, you got a great coach and you got a great quarterback. And that's pretty much those are the two biggest ingredients for having a team who can have a chance at making playoffs. So we'll see about that. And as for the Saints, that's one thing that you could see right there that could put them over the top too. All right, I mean they beat the Vikings. And then last season's playoffs, if the safety makes that tackle and they end up winning, I mean, who knows if they beat Philly or Philly beats them. But either way, New Orleans was looking like one of the better teams in the NFC. You add a guy like Suh to that defense, a veteran, pretty much to a young defense there, that's going to make them even better. All right, wherever Suh goes, he's going to make the defense better. But now it's just a matter of who pays him the most and who gives him the best opportunity to win. All right, I'm not sure how much Seattle could pay him. I think New Orleans, now that they gave Drew Brees his contract, they pretty much know what range they're in. And as for the Rams, I mean, they still have a pretty decent amount. I think they're still top 10 in cap space, I believe. Might be even just might fall in the top 15 after all the moves they've made. But either way, I mean, if it came down to winning and who had the best chance of winning with Suh on their team, I'd say that the Rams would be the best. I don't know. It'd be between the Rams and the Saints, all right? the Saints with Suh are better than the Rams, and the Rams with Suh are better than the Saints, I guess you could say. So now it's just a matter of, with the Saints and Rams, it's a matter of, do you want to go to the team where they've won a Super Bowl before, you got a quarterback who's won the Super Bowl before, and a coach that's won the Super Bowl before? Or do you want to go to a team where team is still relatively young and they haven't won much, but they're on the cusp of it? All right, it's a matter of, I guess, just preference. You want to be with guys who have been there before, or you want to go out and do something new with this team right here, like the Rams. As far as Seattle goes, with Suh, they're not like a complete lock-in playoff team or anything like that. The NFC is going to be very good this season. So, just adding Suh isn't going to fix every problem, but it's going to help big time. So Seattle still got a bunch of other moves they got to make. But that's all I got to say about that. Really wanted to spend this segment talking about Ndamukong Suh. Next up, we're going to talk more about March Madness. All right. Talk about everything else going on. Maybe see what else is going on in the world of sports. And we'll be making my picks for tonight's NBA game. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we've talked March Madness. At least we've talked the 16 seed knocking off 1 seed Virginia, UMBC, knocking them off. We've talked Tiger Woods, Ty Lue leaving the Cavs for a bit. We've recapped yesterday's NBA games, and we talked about Suh, pretty much where he's going to end up, where the best option would be, and how good the Rams would be if they added him. All right, so for this segment, we're going to talk about anything else going on in the world of sports. Going to talk more about March Madness, and going to make my picks for tonight's NBA games. So let's get into it. So it looks like the XFL isn't the only football league that's going to try and rival the NFL. And I'm not even sure if you can say rival the NFL, because they got to know they stand no chance against the NFL whatsoever. None, absolutely at all. All right, but looking let's see the name. Charlie Ebersol, who directed the documentary on the XFL for the 30 for 30 series of ESPN. He's starting a football league called the Alliance of American Football. And Bill Polian is helping him. Let's see, yeah. Bill Polian's going to help him run the league. And players Troy Polamalu, Justin Tuck, and Hines Ward are going to be overseeing the players part of it. All right, so I guess they're trying to start a whole new fancy schmancy football league. That's going to be coming in 2019 in February, I guess. So, they pretty much, I guess, are ready to go if it's coming down next year. But either way, what are these new football leagues trying to accomplish? All right, we got the CFL in Canada, obviously, who I think they got 8 teams, so they're not big or anything like that, but they've been around relatively for a while. And then you got some of their games ended up on ESPN, so they've done pretty well, I guess you could say. And as for the XFL and the Alliance of American Football, what is the goal here? All right. I know McMahon, he's more so trying to get the audience that the NFL lost with the whole protest going on in there. All right, for the ones that boycotted pretty much the NFL because of the take a knee protest. That's who Vince McMahon, I feel, is targeting. And with the the Alliance of American Football, what is their audience that they're trying to get to? Who are they trying to reach? And I guess they already got a TV deal, or the media deal too, with CBS, I believe it was. So, they're, I feel, more ahead of it than the XFL is right now. They're going to be starting up sooner. They already got a media deal. All right, they have actual players coming in and trying to help. You got Bill Polian, who worked in the front office, and I can't stand Bill Polian just because of his Lamar Jackson takes. But Bill Polian, he's a football guy. He's a football mind. So I feel like he'll have some pretty good advice to give off. But like I said, just getting back to the point, I mean, what are these leagues trying to accomplish? All right, is the Alliance of American Football trying to be like a feeder league to the NFL, trying to like be like a little minor league or whatever? Are they trying to rival the NFL? All right, if you got a media deal with CBS, obviously that's probably where the games are going to end up, or on the CBS Sports Network, either one. But I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to see, but this is all Vince McMahon's fault. This is why we all got all these new leagues coming up. All right, bring back the AFL, the Arena Football League. That's what I want to see. All right, bring back the San Jose SaberCats. Bring back all those teams. All right, bring it back. We want to see it. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see when these football leagues come back up and when they actually start playing. All right, I'll be tuning into the Alliance of American Football just because I like to watch football. But either way, it's going to be, I don't know, it could be a comedy show just based off of how the players play and all that, or it could be something that maybe is a bit entertaining. So we'll see. Either way, I think it'll be entertaining. All right, it's a matter of, it's entertaining because, this is good football, or like, wow, this is a joke, but I'm loving it. So we'll see about it. But either way, wanted to mention that. Now let's talk March Madness. All right, we're now into the Sweet 16. We've had 15 upsets so far in the tournament. All right, no one is safe. And I feel like with all the upsets, we probably should have seen this coming, because of the fact that there was no clear-cut like tier of great teams this season. All right, Virginia was the number one overall seed in this tournament and got blown out by 20 by the 16th seed. All right, Villanova's still in it. Xavier, who's the 1 seed, lost to Florida State. Kansas is still in it, but they've kind of had some trouble. Like I said, they were close with Penn in the second half, but then eventually pulled away. And then with Seton Hall, they only beat them by 4 there. So Kansas is going to be playing a solid Clemson team, who's been playing extremely well in this tournament so far. They beat New Mexico State by 11, and then they beat Auburn by 31, which was a ridiculous game. But either way, like I said, I mean, this has been the tournament of upsets. You got Florida State playing Gonzaga in the Sweet 16, Michigan versus Texas A&M, Syracuse, I compared the 2-3 zone on yesterday's GSMC basketball podcast to the VCR, all right? VCR is still around, believe it or not. You go to your grandparents' house, I guarantee you they have a VCR in that house, all right? And people that are born from 96 to about 2000, I guess you could say, are pretty much in that little tiny area. Anything after 2000 kind of doesn't pretty much stick for this, but they know what a VCR is and they know how to work your VCR, all right? The generation that's coming up, like the kids born from 2002, 2003, and after that, I'm sure they know what a VCR is, but they don't really know how to work it or how it works at all. All right, that's the 2-3 zone. 2-3 zone has been around for quite some time. Now it's pretty much the last of its kind. Syracuse is the only team that really wins it in the in college basketball. It really matters, I guess you could say. And these teams, when they see it in the tournament, they do not know what to do. All right, Michigan State lost to Syracuse. What was it? 55-53, and then TCU lost to Syracuse 57-52. These teams, when they see the 2-3 zone, have no idea how to act. All right, they don't know how to get past it, how to stop it, or how to get past it and how to defeat it. All right, Jim Boeheim, Syracuse, should be a lock for the tournament every year. All right, doesn't matter how poorly they play in the ACC or whatever. All right, you got people saying that they shouldn't have even made the tournament, and here they are making a run. Okay, they need to make the tournament every year because they feel like they always make a run. They always get a game or two in the tournament at least. All right, the 2-3 zone is undefeated. No one can stop. No one can get past it. All right, and they're playing Duke on either Thursday or Friday. I have to double check it, but either way, I mean Duke. That's a team who could beat the 2-3 zone because Coach K has been around long enough to know how to stop the 2-3 zone. All right, Coach K has been coaching college basketball since the 70s, I believe, with Duke, and that's just crazy to say because it looks like Coach K hasn't aged in a while. It looks like he's pretty much stayed the same age for a while. He was like a vampire. I feel just does not get any older, does not get any younger. I don't know. It's kind of weird. We need to search that up. But either way, like I said, Coach K could get past the 2-3 zone. But I mean, as far as Syracuse goes, this is already a successful tournament. All right, was a last 14 men, had to play into the first round. Won that game against Arizona State. You beat TCU. You beat Michigan State. All right, who's to say they can't beat Duke, honestly? All right, this tournament has been full of surprises. I have no clue who's winning what. Actually, I do have an idea. That's why I'm going to be making my picks from the Sweet 16 on. But either way, like I said, this tournament has just been upside down, going crazy. Not really sure what exactly has gone on. All right, you got teams like Loyola Chicago. They play Nevada, all right, this week. They're going to beat Nevada. It's going to happen. All right, I'm calling it now. That's my lead pipe lock of the week. Nevada is going to lose to Loyola Chicago. All right, Kentucky, that's a team who could make it to the Final Four, and I'm sure they will. West Virginia, that's a team who's been playing well, blowing out both of their opponents. Going to be playing Villanova this week. You get Texas Tech versus Purdue. That's going to be a fun one. And then, like I said, you get Kansas versus Clemson, Duke versus Syracuse, Michigan versus Texas A&M, and Florida State versus Gonzaga. Let's actually make my picks for these games, all right? For the Sweet 16, I got Kentucky beating Kansas State. Kentucky's been playing well. All right, and there's a record. They won their last 30 tournament games or something like that against teams that are ranked 2 seeds or lower. Then we got Loyola Chicago versus Nevada. Like I said, lock it down. Loyola's winning that game. We got West Virginia versus Villanova. I'm going West Virginia. All right, I'm a fan of the full court press. They've been playing extremely well. Blew out Marshall by 23. Blew out Murray State by 17. All right, Villanova's been playing well, but this is the tournament of upsets, so I'm going with another one. I got West Virginia beating Villanova. Then we got Texas Tech versus Purdue. I got Texas Tech easily in this one. Purdue's been playing well, but Texas Tech has been playing just as good. So I got Texas Tech beating Purdue. Then we got Kansas versus Clemson. I'm going Clemson. Clemson has been playing the better basketball. Kansas pretty much squeaked by the last couple of games. Like I said, they did beat Penn by 16, but we're struggling with them at 1 point. So I got Clemson beating Kansas. Then we got Duke versus Syracuse. I really want to pick Syracuse, but I got to go Duke in that one. Then we got Florida State versus Gonzaga. I got Gonzaga. All right, they've been playing well. I think they're going to be able to pull it out against Florida State. And then we got Michigan versus Texas A&M. All right, I got Michigan. That's my one sleeper team. I had them making a run in my bracket, so I'm going to stick with that, even though most of my other picks are wrong. So I got Michigan beating Texas A&M. Then for the Elite Eight, we'd have Michigan versus Gonzaga. I'd have Gonzaga or Michigan winning that one. Duke versus Clemson. I got Duke winning that one. And then for the other region, we'd have Kentucky versus Loyola Chicago. I'd have Kentucky winning there. Loyola Chicago's tournament run ends in the Elite Eight, and then we got West Virginia versus Texas Tech, and I got West Virginia winning that one. So we have a Final Four of Kentucky versus Michigan and West Virginia versus Duke. All right, I got Michigan beating Kentucky, believe it or not, and I got Duke beating West Virginia. And we got Duke versus Michigan in the final. All right, Duke, obviously, if they make it that far, are the best team in the tournament, but I'm going to stick with Michigan. Really like the way they're playing. Best team in the Big Ten, and no one's really been talking about them. They're kind of being a team that's flying under the radar, so that's how I got it. I got Michigan winning the tournament, and I'm going to continue to make my picks after each round, all right? Once the Sweet 16 is over and I see how the Elite 8's going, I'll make my picks again. But if we get my Sweet 16 picks right, then I'm sticking with my Elite 8 picks. So let's make my picks now for the NBA. First up, we got the Raptors facing off with the Magic. I mean, is there really much to say here? We know who's winning this one. It's the Raptors. I got the Raptors. Then we got the Thunder facing off with the Celtics. OKC is favored by 4.5 in this one. No Kyrie Irving, no Jaylen Brown, no Marcus Smart, no Daniel Tice. I got the Thunder in this one. Thunder should win this one pretty easily. But, I mean, the Celtics have played all right without those guys. So, they had that one game against the Wizards and they got blown against the Pelicans. So, they've been playing pretty poorly. So, it's either the Celtics have a miraculous game or the Thunder just win this one easily. And I'm going to go with Thunder winning this one. Then we got the Clippers facing off with the Timberwolves. Both teams, all right, fighting for that last couple of playoff spots. Timberwolves, last time I checked, we're the 8th seed. Clippers on the outside looking in. Clippers got to win this one. Minnesota's favored. They're 26-9 at home. Clippers are 17-17 on the road, but I'm going to go with the Clippers. All right, they have to win this game, so I'm going with them. Then we got the Mavericks facing off with the Pelicans. I'm going with New Orleans in this one. Really shouldn't be much of a struggle here for the Pelicans to win. Then we got the Hawks facing off with the Jazz. Jazz are the 4 or 5 seed, I think, right now in the West. They've been playing extremely well, so I'm going with the Jazz. Then we got the Pistons facing off with the Suns. I'm going to go with the Suns in this one, all right? Suns have been tanking, but the Pistons are just a bad team on the road, so I'm going to go with the Suns. Then we got the Rockets facing off with the Portland Trailblazers. I'll definitely be tuning into this game. This one's going to be on at 7:30 Pacific time on TNT. You got the Rockets who are 29-8 on the road. Trailblazers 25-11 at home. Trailblazers, I believe, have won 13 in a row. Is the streak going to continue? This is going to be a nice little measuring stick game, too, here. We're going to see how the Trailblazers really stack up against the top teams. Going to see them against the Rockets. I'm going to go with the Rockets. I'm going to go with the Trailblazers. I think they're going to be able to pull out the win. The Trailblazers right now are playing like the best team in the league, so I'm going to go with the Trailblazers winning this one. Got a few upset picks, but let's recap my picks right now. We got the Raptors beating the Magic, the Thunder beating the Celtics, Clippers beating the Timberwolves, Pelicans beating the Mavericks, Jazz beating the Hawks, Suns beating the Pistons, and Trailblazers beating the Rockets. 3 upset picks. That's the Trailblazers, Suns, and Clippers winning there. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Today, what did we talk about? We talked about 16 seed beating a number 1 seed. We talked about Tiger Woods, Ty Lue's taking a leave of absence, recapped Monday's NBA games, talked about Ndamukong Suh, and for this one segment, talked about a new football league that's going to be forming, the Alliance of American Football League. All right, we talked in March Madness some more. made my picks from the Sweet 16 on, and we made my picks for tonight's NBA game. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back tomorrow, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.